Before we cross into the unknown, leave a hello in the comments. Even the smallest signal can ripple across galaxies, guiding fellow wanderers to this tale. Let me know you're out there. A voice among the stars, listening with me beyond the veil. Engines roared as the Odyssey tore through the void, a silver streak against darkness. Admiral Kale's eyes scanned the holobridge. Every sensor screamed enemy activity. A betrayal had struck the Outer Rim colonies. Communications blackened, fleets decimated. He gritted his teeth. Humanity would not wait. He barked orders, and swarm drones detached like fireflies, forming a defensive grid. The elder races, watching from the council's seat, called it dishonorable. Kale called it survival. Humanity had no time for archaic honor codes. Every heartbeat counted, every second a gamble. The fleet emerged into the flash of a kinetic strike, a silent explosion blooming in the distance. Kyle felt it through the deck vibrations, a warning of the enemy's arrogance. He tapped the holo console, redirecting drone swarms to intercept incoming fire. Digital sabotage spread like ink through enemy systems. Ships spun out of control, weapons offline. His crew cheered silently. Efficiency was the new victory. In days, battles would be won before the elders could even grasp the war. Kale smiled grimly. Humanity's youth wasn't naive. It was lethal. Admiral Kale faced the Council's envoy on a hololink. "You've broken the ancient codes," the eldest intoned, eyes cold as neutron stars. Kale's jaw tightened. "We fight to win," he said, "not for outdated ceremonies. Your honor has led to centuries of stagnation while civilizations died." Behind him, technicians rerouted power to propulsion cores, preparing for jumps no elder vessel could anticipate. The envoy flinched at the efficiency of the setup. Humanity's methods were chaotic only to those clinging to ritual. Sensors pinged. Unknown ships appeared at the rim, moving faster than any Council-class warship. Kale grinned. "Engage drones. Silent strikes first." Swarm drones streaked forward like meteors, hacking, detonating, and disabling without a shot being fired. The elders sputtered in disbelief. Humanity's advantage was clear: ingenuity over tradition. Kale's mind raced through battle algorithms predicting every countermove. The envoy's condemnation faded against the thunder of engines and the quiet collapse of their fleet. Humanity's war had just begun, and the stars had no choice but to watch. Commander Lyra's fingers danced over the console as digital ghosts infiltrated enemy command networks. "They're trying to mask signatures," she muttered. "Not fast enough." The fleet moved in synchronization, drones reflecting each maneuver like living mirrors. Kale watched from the bridge, tension coiling in his chest. The elder races relied on honor-bound pacing. Humanity thrived in chaos. One false move, one hesitation from them, and Lyra's grid would collapse entire battle groups. The first real test of Earth's methods loomed. A signal flared. An old human ship, lost decades ago, reactivated under the enemy's control. Lyra's eyes widened. "They're using our ghosts against us." Kale leaned over the console, voice low but sharp. "Then we teach them the new code." Drones shifted, swarming to intercept friend and foe alike, blurring lines. Ships spun, weapons misfired, illusions mirrored reality. Every tactical advantage was leveraged, every weakness exploited. Kale felt the rush of control. The battlefield had changed, and humanity's refusal to accept limits would decide the first chapter of this war. Explosions blossomed across the void, but the fleet moved in eerie silence. Kyle's sensors painted devastation. Enemy craft tumbling, engines ripped apart. "Status," he demanded. Lieutenant Soren replied, voice tight, "They can't even detect half our drones, Admiral. The swarm is everywhere." Kale's mind traced patterns of destruction. Perfect, efficient, brutal. Humanity fought not for spectacle, but for survival, and every strike whispered a promise: innovation over stagnation, action over ceremony. A council flagship emerged from the wreckage cloud, shields barely holding. Kale's hand hovered over the fire command. Hold, let's see if they understand humility. The ship's systems flickered as his drones infiltrated its hull, tearing circuits silently. Sparks danced across the bridge as the flagship stuttered, engines whining in surrender. Kyle exhaled slowly. Silence was sometimes louder than gunfire. Humanity had rewritten the rules of engagement, and the Elders had no defense against a fleet unwilling to honor outdated codes. Kale stared at the starfield ahead. The Outer Rim colonies awaited rescue, but more fleets lurked in the shadows. "We can't let complacency catch us," he said, voice firm. Every ship hummed with energy, systems on the brink of overclocking. The crew felt it, a prelude to a leap, a surge of speed and thought. Humanity's methods were messy, terrifying, unstoppable. Kale's heart raced with excitement. Victory wasn't guaranteed, it was engineered. Sensors flickered. An unknown anomaly warped space near the fleet. Drones hesitated, then surged forward, probing. Kyle felt the thrill of first contact, a test beyond any council doctrine. "Prepare for whatever that is," he murmured, faster than before, propelling humanity into the unknown. The edge of infinity was near, and Kale smiled. The war had begun in days, but its consequences would ripple for centuries. The youth of Earth refused limits, and the stars would bend to learn, or break. A transmission crackled through the fleet's secure channel, a message from the Outer Rim colonies. The voice was familiar, but the tone was corrupted. They promised safety. The words ended in static, and Kale's stomach tightened. Someone had betrayed the colonies before Earth's arrival. His hand hovered over the command panel, fingers itching to unleash countermeasures. The fleet pivoted, engines roaring as drones deployed in a spiral formation, scanning for hostile interference. Humanity's response was swift, no hesitation, no second-guessing. Efficiency was their weapon, and betrayal their target. Sensors picked up a cloaked craft slipping between stars. Lyra's fingers flew over the console, decrypting and rerouting interference. The enemy had anticipated their arrival, yet underestimated human unpredictability. Kale's mind calculated trajectories. Drone swarms intercepting phantoms before they could strike. Explosions bloomed in darkness like unnatural constellations. Humanity moved as a singular entity, mechanical and organic in perfect synchronicity. Kyle felt pride, terrifying and exhilarating. They would not fail the colonies. Not now, not ever. This time, not for attack, but for maneuver. The fleet slipped through a nebula cloud, magnetic storms masking their presence. Kale's eyes scanned the shifting holograms. Enemy vessels moved blindly, vulnerable to a silent strike. "This is the advantage of youth," he said to Soren. "They follow old patterns, we define new ones." Drones hovered like predatory birds, invisible, lethal. Humanity's battlefield was both physical and digital, the two inseparable in its execution. Suddenly, a council warship flared into view, shields radiating a pale blue warning. Kyle tapped the comms. "We are not here to negotiate." Drones surged, intercepting lasers and jamming communications. Systems sparked, circuits fried silently. Soren grinned. "They're panicking." Kale allowed himself a rare smile. Humanity's advantage wasn't raw power, it was adaptability. While the Elders clung to ritual and honor, the fleet moved with precision, speed, and the cold logic of necessity. By the time the Council realized the battle had begun, it was already over. Lyra's console pulsed with anomalies. Rogue AI sequences, ghost signatures, hacked fleets converging in the Outer Rim. "They're trying to outsmart us digitally," she warned. Kale leaned in, jaw tight. "Then we escalate." Swarm drones unleashed a new protocol, infiltrating every accessible system, rewriting code mid-flight. Enemy vessels stuttered, autopilot failing as circuits overloaded. Humanity fought not only in space but in the invisible currents of data, where the young could outthink the old at every turn. Explosions erupted silently across sensor feeds. Council fleets turned on one another as miscommunication spread. Kyle observed, calculating next moves. The humans' digital tempest left no room for hesitation. Even the elders, masters of strategy for centuries, struggled to predict the swarm's patterns. Kale's voice resonated through the bridge. Let them learn. Lyra's fingers danced over consoles, orchestrating chaos with artistry. Humanity's code was simple. Move fast, adapt faster. The battlefield was theirs, not because of brute strength, but because the youth refused to limit the galaxy had long accepted. The fleet approached the main colony sector, smoke and debris dotting the void. Kale's heart clenched. Casualties were visible even from orbit. Brace for breach, he ordered. Drones reconfigured into shield formations, kinetic pulses ready to intercept debris or enemy fire. Lyra's hacking units penetrated ruined systems, reviving critical infrastructure for survivors. Humanity's efficiency wasn't just offensive. It was rescue, repair, survival, all at once. The Council's fleets hesitated, unsure whether to strike or flee. A sudden eruption of energy knocked several drones offline. Kale narrowed his eyes. Cloaked vessels had taken a hidden position behind the colonies. Soren's voice was tense. They've learned to hide in plain sight. Kale's hand hovered over the targeting matrix. He smiled grimly. Then we teach them to fear visibility. Drones surged, shielding survivors while striking enemies with precision. Humanity's youth had no fear of limits, no loyalty to outdated honor. Every strike was both protection and punishment, a lesson in efficiency the galaxy would not forget. The colony's atmosphere flickered with fires and failing power grids. Kyle floated over the map, eyes tracing enemy pockets. We must secure the light sources first, he ordered. Drones split into two divisions, one to extinguish energy anomalies, one to neutralize enemy holdouts. Lyra monitored alien AI attempts to retake systems. Humanity's approach was surgical, a storm of controlled destruction. They call us cheaters, Kale muttered. We call it evolution. A sudden shadow passed across the fleet, a massive vessel, unlike any previously catalogued. Kale's sensors struggled to identify it. It moved between dimensions, a ghost in real space. Soren whispered, This isn't standard technology. Kale's fingers hovered over the engagement protocol, pulse steady. Then we learn faster than they can adapt. Fleet aligning for a confrontation beyond comprehension. Humanity's youth would meet mystery with audacity, and the stars would remember who refused the chains of old war. The fleet skirted the edge of a collapsing star system. Kale's holomap flickered. Quantum distortions warped sensor readings, enemy ships flickering in and out of detection. They're hiding in the folds of space, Lyra said, awe in her voice. Kale's fingers hovered over the tactical interface. Then we bend the folds to our favor. Drones recalibrated, shifting phase states to match the anomalies. Humanity fought not just in space, but in dimensions the Elders never imagined. Efficiency became physics itself. Suddenly, a cascade of light erupted, enemy vessels destabilized, engines screaming as quantum interference scrambled systems. Kyle's heart raced with calculated exhilaration. Push the advantage, he ordered. Swarm drones phased through enemy hulls, dismantling vessels from within. The Council's ancient war codes meant nothing here. Humanity's youth was fearless, inventive, untethered from tradition. Kale's eyes scanned the war zone. Victory, silent and precise, shimmered in fractured light. Communications pinged, a fragmented signal from a surviving Council fleet. "We will not yield," it boomed, but the message was corrupted, scrambled by human sabotage. Kyle smirked. "They try to resist, we adapt." The fleet moved like a living organism, drones weaving defensive and offensive patterns simultaneously. Lyra's digital assaults continued, rewriting enemy commands in real time. Humanity's strength was chaos mastered, a symphony of technology and instinct. A council cruiser burst from hiding, firing a barrage of plasma torpedoes. Kyle's voice cut through the bridge. "Intercept and neutralize." Drones reacted instantaneously, creating mirrored attacks, jamming guidance systems, and redirecting destruction. Soren's grin reflected Kale's pride. They were young, fast, unstoppable. Humanity did not wait for honor. They created their own. The echoes of resistance shattered against the fleet's precision, a lesson in efficiency no ancient code could counter. Kale's fleet encountered unexpected reinforcements, rogue factions within the Council itself. "They've fractured," Soren noted. Kale's jaw tightened. "Good. Confusion is opportunity." The fleet adjusted tactics instantly, exploiting the cracks in allegiance. Drones swarmed, disabling ships without annihilating them. Lyra's code infiltrated rogue AI protocols, turning enemy systems into allies mid-battle. Humanity's efficiency wasn't just a strength, it was adaptability on a planetary scale. A rogue warship hesitated, then turned to assist Kale's forces. "They're switching sides," Lyra said, eyes wide. Kale nodded. "We fight smart, not fair. Remember that." Swarms penetrated the remaining Loyalist Council vessels, collapsing command structures without a direct fight. Humanity's methods were fluid, merciless, and utterly effective. The galaxy began to understand. Youth is not chaos. It is evolution, rewriting the rules of war. Kale leaned over the bridge, watching Neuralink drones interface directly with enemy minds. "We can predict their moves before they know them," Lyra explained. Kale's pulse quickened. The battlefield became not just ships, but thought and reaction. The Council's commanders faltered, their instincts manipulated by unseen hands. Humanity's youth did not rely on brute force alone. It wove intelligence, technology, and instinct into a single, unstoppable weave. A sudden psychic backlash rippled through the fleet, disrupting some drones. Kale's eyes narrowed. Adjust neural frequency. Compensate. Drones realigned. Systems recalibrated in seconds. Enemy commanders screamed silently into their neural feedback loops as Kale's fleet moved like liquid metal through the void. Efficiency was ruthless. Speed was deadly. Humanity had become a storm, and every ripple of resistance was absorbed, redirected, and obliterated. An encrypted distress call arrived from a supposedly neutral system. Kale studied the data. There was no truth, only manipulation. "They want to lure us into a trap," Soren said. Kale's jaw tightened. "Then we decide the terms of engagement." The fleet reconfigured for deception, drones splitting into phantom formations, masking true positions. Humanity thrived where the elders feared, to anticipate, to mislead, to strike unseen. As they approached the system, hidden turrets erupted from orbital platforms. Drones intercepted, swarming the defenses while Kale's ships maneuvered through the inferno. The trap became an arena, and humanity's ingenuity turned enemy planning into their own advantage. Kale's eyes glimmered with grim satisfaction. Youth had refused the old limits, and now the galaxy learned. Betrayal could be met with precision, strategy, and unstoppable force. The void itself is shaking with calculated fury. The fleet approached the heart of the neutral system. Sensors detected nothing, yet Kale felt the familiar tingle of unseen forces. "The anomaly isn't just a ship," Lyra said. "It's space itself bending." Swarm drones advanced cautiously, shifting phase to avoid energy distortions. Humanity's youth thrived where hesitation crippled the elders. They adapted, improvised, turned fear into advantage. A ripple tore through the void, warping reality around the fleet. Enemy vessels materialized, then vanished, trapped in quantum loops. Kale's fingers danced over the console. "Deploy the predictive grid," he commanded. Drones mirrored the enemy's maneuvers before they occurred. Efficiency became prophecy. Humanity fought not only with firepower but foresight, rewriting the rules mid-battle, forcing the Council's finest to confront a war they could not understand. Kale's fleet advanced under a storm of psychic and digital interference. Neural link drones hummed, interfacing with enemy command networks. "They can't outthink what they can't sense," Lyra muttered. Kale's eyes scanned the holomap, tracing disrupted signals like constellations. Humanity had become both hunter and shadow, anticipating, manipulating, striking before the Elders even realized a threat existed. Council cruisers fired blindly, systems scrambled by human sabotage. Drones slipped through shields, detonating key junctions silently. Soren grinned. "They can't see us coming." Kale allowed himself a rare moment of satisfaction. The youth of Earth had taken advantage of every weakness: rigid codes, reliance on rituals, predictable honor. By bending both mind and machine, humanity's fleet demonstrated that limits were only obstacles to be rewritten, cutting through the remnants of the shattered fleet. Rogue Council factions surrendered, their AI compromised. Kale studied the battlefield. "We must secure these sectors," he said. Drones rebuilt orbital platforms, restored power grids, and rescued trapped civilians simultaneously. Humanity fought efficiently, a storm of technology and strategy. Victory was not chaos. It was control applied with ruthless precision. Kale watched the survivors realign, hesitant but compliant. Lyra noted, "They respect efficiency more than ritual." Soren laughed softly. Humanity's youth had won without surrendering their principles: speed, innovation, adaptation. The Elders' dominion fractured, proving that longevity alone did not guarantee strength. Kyle's gaze drifted toward the anomaly still lurking beyond sensor range. The galaxy's rules were changing, and he intended to be the author of that rewrite. The anomaly pulsed with unnatural energy, folding space like paper. Kale leaned over the console. "It's learning," Lyra said, "responding to our tactics." The fleet entered the distorted zone. Drones shifted frequency to counter-phase distortions. Humanity's youth was agile, fearless, able to confront threats the Elders could only theorize about. Suddenly, a flash. Enemy vessels emerged from the folds, but not as expected. Shapes twisted, geometry impossible, engines violating known physics. Kale's breath caught. "Target patterns now," he barked. Swarm drones adapted mid-flight, intercepting vessels with predictive algorithms. Soren whispered, "It's not just a ship. It's a battlefield itself." Humanity faced a challenge beyond the galaxy's imagination, but Kale smiled grimly. They were built to redefine impossible. The fleet surged through the anomaly, engines roaring, lights fractured into impossible spectra. Kale's mind raced through contingencies, every drone pattern calculated in seconds. Humanity fought not to survive, but to define survival itself. The Council's remnants scrambled, unable to match the fleet's adaptive tactics. "We are the future," Kale muttered, almost to himself. A cascade of explosions marked the collapse of enemy formations. Drones reassembled, conserving energy for unknown threats ahead. Lyra smiled, fingers flying over neural link interfaces. Soren chuckled softly. "They'll write legends about this." Kale's gaze turned outward. Humanity had proven that youth was not weakness. It was a refusal to accept limits, a refusal the galaxy would remember, propelling them deeper into the unknown, toward a war that had only just begun. The fleet pierced the veil of a dense star cluster. Sensors warped, mapping distorted fields and hidden energy signatures. Kale's jaw tightened. "They're hiding something," he muttered. Swarm drones dispersed, probing anomalies and gathering intelligence. Humanity's youth thrived in chaos, reading patterns the elders could not see. Every pulse, every fluctuation, was another opportunity to adapt. A sudden shimmer revealed enemy ambush vessels, cloaked until now. Lyra's fingers flew over the interface, redirecting drone swarms in precise arcs. Council ships faltered under invisible interference, their commands scrambled. Kale's grin was quiet but deadly. Efficiency was silent. The stars had learned that youth did not stumble. It calculated, struck, and disappeared before tradition could respond. Distorted comms crackled across the fleet. Kale traced them. False distress calls designed to scatter his forces. "They think chaos will save them," Soren said. Kale's eyes narrowed. "Then let's turn chaos into opportunity." Drones split, forming protective and offensive grids. Humanity's youth thrived on unpredictability, turning enemy subterfuge into a strategic advantage. A council frigate attempted to flank the fleet. Neuralink drones intercepted command signals, rerouting fire into an empty void. Lyra smiled. "They can't fight what they can't see." Explosions bloomed silently across the sensor feeds. Kyle watched, calculating next moves. Humanity had no time for hesitation, no reverence for outdated codes. Victory came from speed, adaptability, and refusal to accept the limits the galaxy once enforced. Kale observed as enemy AI began mirroring swarm tactics, predictive algorithms adapting to human strategies. "They're learning," Lyra warned. Kale's eyes glimmered with grim satisfaction. "Good, then we evolve faster." Drones reconfigured mid-flight, phasing into frequencies the enemy could not follow. Humanity's strength was iteration, innovation, and instinct married to technology. Council vessels fired blindly into space, systems misfiring under unseen digital assaults. Soren's grin widened. "They're ghosts chasing shadows." Kale's hands danced across the command interface. Every strike, every maneuver was calculated to reshape not just the battlefield, but the enemy's understanding of war. Youth refused tradition. Innovation triumphed where honor once faltered. Humanity's fleet became both predator and shadow, unstoppable and unseen. The fleet approached a planetary system under siege. Surface sensors revealed colonies ablaze, orbital defenses failing. "We cannot fail them," Kale murmured. Drones split into tactical units, restoring shields, rerouting energy and neutralizing enemy positions simultaneously. Humanity's efficiency was surgical, merciless, and protective all at once. Council ships attempted a last desperate barrage. Kale's fleet responded with mirrored maneuvers and predictive strikes. Soren whispered, "They can't even touch us." Lyra's interface pulsed as rogue AI systems aligned with human control. Humanity had rewritten the rules of engagement. The galaxy learned a harsh lesson. Youth was not naive. It was calculated, lethal, and unbound by the chains of outdated honor. The anomaly loomed larger, its pulsing energy warping space ahead. Kale felt the familiar thrill of the unknown. "This is beyond anything they've ever faced," he said. Swarm drones adjusted for gravitational distortions, mapping the anomaly while maintaining offensive readiness. Humanity's youth thrived in the impossible, turning uncertainty into strategy. Suddenly, Council warships emerged from the anomaly, twisted in geometry, engines violating physics. Kale's fleet countered with predictive grids and Neuralink precision strikes. Explosions lit the warped void, silent yet devastating. Lyra whispered, "It's learning faster than ever." Kale's eyes narrowed. Humanity would adapt faster still, propelling them deeper into the unknown. The silent dominion of the anomaly would test them. But the refusal to accept limits ensured humanity would not falter. The fleet entered the heart of the anomaly. Space twisted, stars bending like light through water. Kale's eyes scanned sensor overlays. Ships appeared, disappeared, reappeared. "We're not just in their space," Lyra said, voice tight. "We're inside their rules, rewriting them." Drones shifted phase and frequency, dancing through distorted dimensions. Humanity's youth thrived where elders faltered. Uncertainty was opportunity. Suddenly, enemy vessels materialized, geometry impossible, weapons firing unpredictably. Kale's hand hovered over the command console. Predictive grids online. Counter every vector. Drones intercepted attacks before they occurred, exploiting temporal loops the enemy could not compute. Soren grinned. "They can't even see us coming." Humanity's fleet moved like living code, unstoppable and untouchable in the fractured reality. Kale studied the anomaly's energy signature. Neural link drones interfaced with rogue AI, probing patterns deeper than any sensor could detect. "It's thinking," Lyra muttered, "reacting to every move." Kale's pulse quickened. Humanity didn't fear intelligence, it embraced it, turning neural networks and human instinct into one unstoppable force. Council vessels fired blindly, systems destabilized by the hybrid neural assault. Swarms phased through shields, dismantling engines from within. Soren chuckled softly. "They're trying to adapt, but we evolve faster." Every maneuver, every strike, reshaped the battlefield. Youth refused limits, and in doing so, demonstrated the futility of centuries-old doctrines. Humanity was no longer just a fleet. It was a neural storm. The last Council strongholds crumbled under relentless precision. Kale's fleet moved like a singular organism, drones defending survivors while neutralizing threats. "Focus on command nodes," he instructed. Lyra's fingers danced across interfaces, exploiting vulnerabilities, turning enemies into unwitting allies. Humanity's strategy was surgical, lethal, and undeniable. The Council's flagship shuddered, circuits failing under swarm infiltration. Kale watched, eyes cold but proud. "History favors the bold," he muttered. Soren's grin mirrored the destruction. Youth could outthink tradition. The shattered command structure signaled the end of rigid hierarchies. Humanity had proven that efficiency, ingenuity, and adaptability were stronger than centuries of codified honor. The galaxy was beginning to understand. Anomalies pulsed around the fleet, folding space into impossible angles. Drones shifted phase to map the chaos. Kyle's eyes were fixed on the holomap. "We must understand it before it understands us," he said. Humanity's youth thrived in comprehension beyond logic. Their advantage lay in intuition and adaptability, not tradition. Enemy vessels warped unpredictably, but Kale's fleet anticipated every maneuver. Swarm drones danced through impossible geometry, disabling engines, redirecting energy, and neutralizing threats silently. Lyra's neural link pulsed with efficiency, reading patterns before they emerged. Soren whispered, "It's learning. But we learn faster." The anomaly was vast, unknowable, but humanity refused limits. The edge of comprehension was theirs to conquer. The fleet surged toward the core of the anomaly. Sensors trembled under gravitational distortions. Kale's mind raced, plotting strike patterns, defensive grids, and rescue operations simultaneously. Humanity did not hesitate. They acted as one, a machine of instinct, intellect, and raw will. Youth refused to falter. The anomaly pulsed, energy cascading in violent arcs. Enemy vessels twisted through space, systems collapsing under swarm attacks. Kale's voice was steady. "Push forward, no retreat." Drones phased, shields shimmered, and louder than ever. Humanity's fleet became the measure of the impossible. The stars would remember the day the youth refused limits and claimed dominion over the edge of tomorrow. The fleet approached a rift in space, a tear leading deeper into the anomaly. Kale's holomap flickered with unstable readings. "This is the breach point," Lyra warned. Swarm drones scanned the area, adapting in real time to gravitational distortions. Humanity's youth thrived in uncertainty. Hesitation was obsolete. Enemy vessels emerged from the rift, shifting unpredictably between dimensions. Kale tapped predictive algorithms into the swarm network. Drones phased, interlaced, and struck before the enemy even realized the attack. Soren murmured, "They can't fight what they can't see." Humanity moved as one, turning the breach into an opportunity and teaching the galaxy a new standard of war. The anomaly pulsed violently, energy surging through the void. Kale deployed neural link drones interfacing with rogue AI and enemy command networks. "We'll anticipate every move before it happens," he said. The fleet adapted instantly, a living network of strategy and reflex. Youth was their advantage, unpredictable, relentless, and mercilessly precise. Council vessels fired blindly, systems failing under the hybrid neural assault. Swarm drones infiltrated, dismantling engines, redirecting fire and corrupting command sequences. Soren whispered, "They're reacting, but too slowly." Humanity's fleet flowed like a storm through the void. Efficiency, intelligence, and instinct combined, leaving tradition behind. The galaxy was learning. Sometimes the young do not stumble. They redefine the battlefield. The fleet entered orbit over a burning colony world. Sensors revealed devastation, orbital defenses destroyed, civilian networks failing. Kale's voice was steady. "Split the drones. Repair, shield, and attack simultaneously." Humanity's approach was surgical, lethal, protective, all in one coordinated movement. Youth thrived where the elders relied on ritual. Council warships attempted a final barrage. Drones intercepted, phased through, and neutralized the enemy while safeguarding civilians. Lyra's hands flew across the interface, redirecting corrupted AI to assist. Soren chuckled softly. "They can't even touch us." Humanity refused old limits. They did not fight for honor. They fought to survive, to protect, and to show the galaxy what youth could achieve. The anomaly expanded, folding space violently. Kale leaned over the console, watching reality twist around them. "We're inside a quantum fracture," Lyra noted. "Everything here behaves unpredictably." The fleet adjusted course, drones phasing and recalibrating to survive and exploit distortions. Humanity's youth thrived on the impossible. Enemy vessels warped in impossible angles, weapons firing without pattern. Kale's predictive grids countered every assault, drones striking before attacks even formed. Soren whispered, "It's adapting faster than we anticipated." Kale's grin was grim. Youth could evolve faster than tradition. Humanity's fleet bent the impossible to its will. The anomaly was no longer just a threat. It was the proving ground. The fleet surged through the core of the anomaly. Sensors flickered under intense energy flows. Kale's mind raced, coordinating drone swarms, neural link strategies, and protective grids simultaneously. Humanity's youth refused limits. They did not hesitate. They acted with precision, foresight, and audacity. The anomaly pulsed violently, energy arcs shredding enemy vessels into oblivion. Swarm drones phased, shields shimmered, engines screamed. Kale's voice cut through the bridge. "Advance, no retreat." Humanity became unstoppable. Unstoppable because they refused to accept old boundaries. The stars remembered that day. The day youth defined dominion, turning the impossible into the inevitable. Louder than ever, heralding a future forged in audacity and innovation, the fleet approached a dark nebula concealing the anomaly's heart. Sensors twisted under interference. Kale's jaw tightened. "They've hidden something critical," he said. Swarm drones spread in fractal patterns, probing, scanning, predicting. Humanity thrived in chaos. Youth did not fear the unknown. They defined it. Suddenly, spectral enemy vessels flickered into existence, firing phantoms of energy that dissolved before impact. Lyra's Neuralink drones responded, rewiring enemy sequences mid-assault. Soren whispered, "They can't even touch us." Kyle's grin was grim. The anomaly was a test, and humanity's refusal of limits was the answer. Carving a path through uncertainty, Kale studied the holomap, tracking residual enemy fleets hiding in warped space. "They follow old patterns," he muttered. "We'll write new ones." Swarm drones split, forming offensive and defensive grids, neural link signals weaving through the void. Humanity's youth thrived on unpredictability, turning enemy strategy against itself. Enemy cruisers fired blindly, systems collapsing under phased assaults. Lyra adjusted the swarm, redirecting attacks before they occurred. Soren grinned. "It's like they're dancing to a rhythm they can't hear." Kale's voice was calm but sharp. "Let's teach them a new code." Efficiency became art. Youth redefined the battlefield. The galaxy watched in awe and fear. The fleet approached the anomaly's core. Gravity warped, light bent unnaturally. Kale tapped the console. Predictive grids online. Every vector accounted for. Drones shifted phase, mapping distortions and scanning for hidden threats. Youth thrived where elders hesitated. The impossible became manageable. Suddenly, enemy vessels emerged from folded space, geometry impossible, engines violating physics. Swarm drones intercepted mid-phase, dismantling engines and redirecting energy. Soren whispered, "They're learning, but too late." Humanity's fleet moved like liquid metal through the void. Tradition faltered, innovation triumphed. Kale's eyes glittered with satisfaction. Youth did not follow rules. They wrote them. Lyra's neural link drones pulsed, interfacing with every enemy AI simultaneously. "They're trying to predict us," she said. Kale's gaze sharpened. "Then we evolve faster." Drones phased, adaptive algorithms rewriting command sequences before attacks formed. Youth thrived on iteration, improvisation, and instinct merged with technology. Explosions erupted across the void, silent yet devastating. Enemy vessels faltered, systems collapsing under hybrid assaults. Soren smiled. "They can't fight what they can't comprehend." Kyle's voice cut through the bridge. "Push forward, no hesitation." Humanity refused limits, bending reality and strategy simultaneously. The anomaly became a proving ground. The young of Earth were unstoppable. The fleet surged toward the deepest core of the anomaly. Energy cascaded, warping sensors. Kale's mind orchestrated drone swarms, neural link interfaces, and fleet maneuvers simultaneously. Humanity acted with precision, foresight, and audacity. Youth refused old boundaries. They became the standard. Enemy vessels twisted through warped space, systems unraveling. Swarm drones phased, shields shimmered, engines screamed. Kyle's voice was steady. "Advance, no retreat." Humanity claimed dominion over the impossible, redefining the battlefield and teaching the galaxy a new rule. Youth is not weakness. It is the refusal to accept limits. Louder than ever, announcing a future forged in audacity and innovation, Kale's fleet approached a hidden pocket of the anomaly. Sensors revealed structures, artificial, intricate, impossible. "It's an algorithm, not a ship," Lyra whispered. Drones recalibrated, scanning, probing, mapping every fractal pattern. Youth thrived where elders hesitated. Understanding the unknown became an advantage. Suddenly, the structures emitted pulses of destabilizing energy. Kale's predictive grids adjusted instantly. Swarm drones phased through the interference, dismantling traps and neutralizing hostile sequences. Soren muttered, "It's learning faster than ever." Kyle's grin was grim. Humanity would adapt faster, carving a path through complexity, proving that youth does not fear the unknown. It masters it. The anomaly pulsed violently, folding space into impossible geometries. Enemy vessels emerged, shifting between dimensions. Kale's fingers danced over the console. Predictive neural grids online, counter every vector. Drones phased, interlaced, striking before attacks formed. Humanity thrived in unpredictability. Council fleets faltered, systems destabilized. Lyra's Neuralink interface manipulated enemy command networks. Soren whispered, "They're trying, but too late." Kale's eyes glimmered. Efficiency, innovation, and adaptability reshaped the battlefield. Youth refused tradition. Humanity became a storm the galaxy could not anticipate. Louder than ever, heralding dominion over chaos itself. The fleet entered the anomaly's deepest fold. Gravity twisted, light bent unnaturally. Kale's mind raced, coordinating drones, fleet maneuvers, and Neuralink assaults simultaneously. Youth thrived where tradition feared. Adaptation was instinct, execution instantaneous. Enemy vessels materialized unpredictably, weapons firing in impossible arcs. Swarm drones phased through shields, dismantling engines and command nodes. Soren grinned, whispering, "They can't even see us coming." Kale's eyes glittered. Humanity's fleet bent physics, strategy, and thought into a singular, unstoppable force. The anomaly became the proving ground, and the young of Earth dominated it. Sensors flared as temporal distortions rippled through the void. Kale's predictive grids adjusted instantly. "They're trying to fracture time," Lyra said. "Drones are phasing through quantum loops to maintain formation." Humanity thrived on adaptation, on bending every limit into opportunity. Enemy vessels faltered, their maneuvers trapped in temporal loops. Neuralink drones exploited instability, redirecting attacks before they occurred. Soren's grin reflected Kale's pride. Youth refused the chains of the old war. Humanity's fleet became both predator and shadow, unstoppable in a fractured continuum. The galaxy was learning. The rules had changed. Kale's fleet surged toward the anomaly's pulsing core. Energy arcs tore through the void, bending sensors. Kale orchestrated drone swarms, fleet maneuvers, and Neuralink attacks in perfect synchrony. Youth refused hesitation. They acted with foresight, precision, and audacity. Enemy vessels twisted through impossible space, systems unraveling under hybrid assaults. Swarm drones phased, shields shimmered, engines screamed. Kale's voice cut through the bridge. "Advance, no retreat." Humanity claimed dominion over the impossible, proving that youth is not weakness, it is the refusal to accept limits. Louder than ever, announcing a future forged in audacity and innovation. The fleet reached the heart of the anomaly. Space rippled like liquid metal, revealing a structure, immense, alien, pulsing with energy beyond comprehension. Kale's jaw tightened. This is the source. Drones streamed forward, scanning, mapping, analyzing. Humanity thrived where the elders froze. The unknown became opportunity. Energy cascaded in impossible arcs, disabling enemy vessels caught in the anomaly's gravity. Lyra's Neuralink drones probed deeper, unraveling alien algorithms in real time. Soren whispered, "It's alive, in a way." Kale's eyes narrowed. Humanity's youth would confront this intelligence not with hesitation, but with audacity, heralding the beginning of a confrontation beyond legend. The anomaly pulsed with alien cognition, responding to every maneuver. Kale's predictive grids shifted instantly. "They're adapting to us," Lyra warned. Drones phased through energy distortions, striking at weak points in the structure. Youth thrived where elders relied on brute strength. Enemy vessels were mere extensions of the anomaly's will, but humanity anticipated every strike. Neural link drones infiltrated AI patterns, destabilizing enemy coordination. Soren chuckled softly. They think faster than ever, but we think faster still. Kale's eyes glittered with determination. The anomaly would not dictate the rules. Humanity would redefine them. Louder, slicing through impossible space. Kale's fleet engaged the anomaly directly. Space twisted violently, energy pulses radiating unpredictably. Swarm drones phased, striking at the structure's core while defending the fleet. Youth thrived where tradition faltered. Reaction was instinct, calculation immediate, execution flawless. Alien vessels responded, warping unpredictably, systems violating known physics. Neural link drones countered, predicting vectors before they existed. Soren's grin reflected the chaos turned advantage. Kale's voice was steady. Push forward, no hesitation. Humanity fought a duel across dimensions, bending strategy, physics, and thought into a lethal harmony. The galaxy watched as youth turned the impossible into dominion. The anomaly's defenses began collapsing under precise assaults. Drones dismantled enemy AI, redirected energy flows, and neutralized vessels. Kale's fleet moved as one organism, adaptive, relentless. Youth thrived on chaos, mastered, turning enemy strength into weakness. Council remnants faltered, systems failing, commands overridden. Lyra whispered, "They can't even comprehend us." Kale's eyes narrowed. Efficiency, audacity, and innovation triumphed where tradition failed. Humanity's fleet was unstoppable. Louder, carving a path through impossible space, proving that youth does not stumble, it dominates. The fleet surged through the final layer of the anomaly. Energy cascades tore space apart. Kale orchestrated drones, Neuralink assaults, and fleet maneuvers in perfect synchrony. Youth refused hesitation. They acted with foresight, precision, and audacity. Alien vessels twisted, systems unraveling under hybrid assaults. Swarm drones phased, shields shimmered, engines screamed. Kale's voice cut through the bridge. "Advance! No retreat!" Humanity claimed dominion over the impossible, redefining the battlefield. The stars learned that youth is not weakness, it is the refusal to accept limits. Louder than ever, heralding a future forged in audacity, technology, and unyielding will. The anomaly pulsed violently, energy arcs tearing through reality. Kale's holomap flickered under impossible distortions. "It's responding. Actively," Lyra warned. Swarm drones shifted phase, mapping the anomaly's hidden defenses. Humanity thrived where tradition hesitated. Every unknown became an opportunity. Suddenly, alien vessels reformed, warping unpredictably. Neural link drones intercepted command signals, redirecting them into voids. Soren whispered, "It's learning faster than ever." Kale's grin was grim. Youth refused limits. Humanity would confront the anomaly's intelligence head-on, engines roaring as they carved a path through chaos, proving once more that audacity defines dominion. The fleet surged deeper, engines roaring as spatial distortions grew violent. Kyle coordinated every swarm, every neural link, every maneuver. Youth thrived in chaos, bending strategy and physics simultaneously. "They're pushing back harder," Lyra said, adjusting grids. Enemy vessels fired in impossible arcs, systems destabilized, structures folding in on themselves. Drones phased through, striking with precision unmatched. Soren muttered, "They can't even touch us." Humanity moved as one organism, rewriting the rules of engagement mid-battle. Efficiency, adaptability, and audacity became weapons. The galaxy watched as youth claimed dominion over the impossible. The anomaly's core pulsed violently, energy cascading through warped space. Kale's fingers danced across the console, orchestrating attacks, defenses, and rescues simultaneously. Youth thrived where elders froze. The impossible became maneuverable. Swarm drones dismantled alien vessels mid-phase, neural link attacks corrupting enemy command structures. Soren whispered, "They're trying, but we evolve faster." Kale's eyes glimmered with satisfaction. Humanity refused limits. Tradition faltered, innovation triumphed, and the fleet surged deeper into the anomaly, engines roaring as they claimed dominion over reality itself. Kale deployed advanced neural link drones, interfacing directly with the anomaly's cognitive matrix. "We'll predict and adapt faster than it can react," he said. Drones phased, striking preemptively. Youth thrived where rigid logic failed. Alien defenses faltered under simultaneous assaults, systems collapsing unpredictably. Lyra whispered, "It's learning, but not fast enough." Soren smiled. Humanity's fleet moved like liquid metal, unstoppable and adaptive. The anomaly's intelligence was formidable, but youth refused limits, bending physics, strategy, and thought into one unstoppable weapon. Louder than ever, heralding dominion. The fleet reached the anomaly's deepest core. Energy cascaded, warping light and matter. Kyle orchestrated drones, neural link networks, and fleet maneuvers with perfect precision. Youth acted with foresight, audacity, and unyielding will. Alien vessels twisted through impossible space, systems unraveling under hybrid assaults. Swarm drones phased, shields shimmered, engines screamed. Kale's voice rang out, "Advance, no retreat." Humanity claimed dominion over the impossible, proving that youth is not weakness. It is the refusal to accept limits. Louder than ever, announcing a future forged in audacity, innovation, and indomitable will. The fleet pierced the anomaly's central nexus. Energy arcs danced violently, warping space. Kale's fingers flew over the console. Every drone, every neural link, synchronize now. Humanity thrived where tradition faltered. Precision, foresight, and audacity were their weapons. Alien defenses reformed unpredictably, systems bending physics itself. Swarm drones phased, dismantling engines and command nodes mid-phase. Soren whispered, "It's adapting, but we're faster." Kale's grin was grim. Youth refused limits. Humanity's fleet became unstoppable, carving a path through impossible space, engines roaring as dominion approached. The anomaly pulsed violently, threatening to collapse entirely. Kale's predictive grids adjusted instantly. "Every vector accounted for," he said. Swarm drones shifted phase, mapping energy distortions and neutralizing threats. Youth thrived on chaos. Mastered, uncertainty became an advantage. Enemy vessels twisted unpredictably, weapons firing in impossible arcs. Neural link drones countered, destabilizing enemy AI and command. Soren whispered, "They can't even comprehend us." Kale's eyes glimmered. Humanity had rewritten the battlefield, heralding dominion over chaos itself. Lyra's neural link drones interface directly with the anomaly's cognitive matrix. "We'll predict every move before it happens," she said. Kale nodded. Youth thrived where tradition froze. Every strike, every maneuver was instantaneous, flawless. Alien systems faltered, vessels collapsing under hybrid assaults. Swarm drones phased through the void, neutralizing threats before they materialized. Soren chuckled softly. Humanity moved as one organism. Tradition faltered, innovation triumphed. Louder than ever, announcing that youth does not stumble, it dominates. The anomaly's core trembled, space itself unraveling. Kale coordinated every drone, every fleet maneuver, every neural link attack, slicing through impossible energy flows. Youth refused limits. They acted with foresight, audacity, and precision unmatched. Enemy vessels twisted and exploded, systems collapsing under relentless assaults. Soren whispered, "It's over, isn't it?" Kale's eyes remained sharp. Humanity's fleet had conquered the impossible, mastering chaos, bending physics, and rewriting the rules of war, heralding an era defined by audacity, youth, and unyielding will. The anomaly's remnants collapsed into a singularity of energy. Kyle surveyed the fleet, every drone operational, every vessel intact. "We've won, but the galaxy will never be the same," he said. Humanity thrived where others feared. Youth refused limits, and the universe had learned. Neuralink drones pulsed one final time, stabilizing reality, rerouting energy flows, securing the galaxy's safety. Soren grinned, watching stars realign. Kale's gaze drifted outward, louder than ever, echoing through the void. Humanity had returned to the galaxy, unbound, unstoppable, and eternal. The legend of youth, the refusal to accept limits, would be written across the stars forever. The end. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story, or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.